And now guys, welcome to the Ligier JS P320 that comes here now to rFactor 2, just like the Norma M30 that also has been updated. You will find some interesting tools on the Ligier JS P320, which is there is a sprint high down force, a sprint low down force, and a Le Mans aero package. So that's not too much news from the general content when it comes down to packages and upgrades. However, the Norma and the Ligier both had to go into a balance of performance altogether, and this is the result of it. So we now have LMP3, two LMP3s with a high downforce config, low downforce config, and the Le Mans aero package. And of course the Le Mans aero package, since we have 3 slow turns, 1 fast flat out king, actually 4 slow turns, and other than that just plain straight and a bus stop chicane. The downforce that we did have, or that we do have on the Le Mans aero package, is more than sufficient. So with the LMP3 Norma, we were able to do a 141.1 in the first couple of laps, then slightly dropping towards a 41.5 ish. So we are now about to check out what is the Ligier JS P320 doing like. So the key question is, how good is the balance of performance overall? And we're going to have a look on this as we are just one really sees that this is all HTML. Oh, this is already set. Great. 50 liters, also great. So let's just get out here on the LMP3, on the new one, on the Ligier. So first of all, these cars are quite a little bit different than you probably would expect. In fact, the engine is completely the same in terms of specification and in terms of energy data and stuff like this. But I think also in fuel consumption. But what these cars are completely different is the chassis. So the Ligier is a fair bit stiffer in the back, and generally speaking, a little bit more rigid as a chassis itself. However, that benefits the lap time in the first lap, because a stiffer rear means there is just a little bit more rotation that you get from the overall chassis into the turns. And let's see whether we can make use of that actually. Both LMP3s, the Norma and the Ligier, are still on the old tire model. As far as I understand, it was planned to make them ready for the new one. However, things have not gone too well, as we've seen it with the Le Mans Virtual Series already. On the LMP2, there was the new tyre model indeed, but they had to change the car quite a lot before the season started. So it's not like that you just, put the new rFactor 2 tyre model on it and be great to go. It's quite a bit more than this, and so far it didn't seem like things were going too well overall, as we have Darius Andre passing us on the top lane here in the IndyCar. rFactor 2 says it's a new tyre model. I'll have to do some research on it, if it is. I think to me it feels like it's the old one, especially with the Norma M30. It felt like being the old one, but I may be wrong. I may potentially be wrong. So this is the other thing, like new tire model or old tire model, you're most likely only finding out in the long run. Additionally, what both cars now got is traction control. Remember, the old Norma basically had no driving aids whatsoever, so neither ABS, which it still doesn't have, and neither a traction control. Now both cars do have a traction control, as you can see right now when going up on the traction control counter. 11 positions of traction control and a 0 that is traction control off. I'll just keep with a traction control 5. That's what I had with the Norma M30 as well. And we're gonna explore a little more on this Ligier actually, and you see it with the car just being so much more rigid. The steering wheel of mine is shaken a lot more than it was with the Norma, which is a clear sign that the Norma was just plain overall a bit softer. Tom Carroll, thank you so much for your YouTube channel subscription. Yeah, Yanni, to me it feels the same, like the same old tire model. Especially what has not changed at all is that medium tire. You can see it. We've done one timed lap already. It's still not up to temperature. It is on the back due to the rear end going over the banking. Especially the rear right is heating up a lot due to that. But overall, the tires is just not there, which means that it's the second lap. The second time lap is most likely being a lot faster. Anyway, Bim Bam Gaming, thank you for the follow, and also Cisco, really appreciating your follow as well. Jens Hofer, thank you for your subscription on the YouTube channel, much appreciated. So you can see it, we're roughly a tenth quicker than in the Norma before, 1.5 tenths. Let's see if we struggle the same way into the Le Mans chicken. No, this time it's better, especially on the throttle. The car is a bit more responsive due to its rigidity in the back on the chassis. Let's see what the straight line speed is doing. Minus 22. 100. It is kind of exactly the same speed. So in base configuration, it's jumping up and down a little. We did a 140.8. Remember, the other lap in the LMP3 of us wasn't that sufficient. But on the first look, one needs to say this is a quite close balance of performance they have created for two cars. Now obviously you can say, how hard can it be to create a balance of performance for two cars? Remember though, it has to be done for the high downforce setup, the low downforce setup, and the Le Mans aero package, and that makes it quite a bit more difficult rather than, you know, just balance of performance in one car around the track for a single package. No, you have to balance them both, and in best case for multiple tracks. Look at that! There was that jumbo jet again. Anyway, Maros, oh dear, Rozovsky, thank you so much for your subscription on the YouTube channel. Much appreciating the support. And if you guys are watching here on the YouTube channel or on Twitch, type in ! join into the chat. Please, someone from YouTube do it, so that people see that you just need to fire up your rFactor 2, look for the MH10 release party server, and then get going to race with us here a little bit in a free practice session. You can get all 4 cars and the track for €16.80 if you follow the link of the Q1 package in the description area below, or of course you can find the dedicated link to the car if you're just looking for it. Oh, I gotta say though, the balance of this Ligier is generally speaking just so much better. Have you seen how I was sliding around with a Norma, especially when being off the throttle? So really appreciate the balance of this car. And in general, I gotta say, the LMP3 has been quite interesting to drive, the old Norma M30. So far, everything of that interesting driving behavior is just gone. Remember, we're still on the default setup, but usually this car, it kind of rotated nice when you get into the turn. As soon as you got onto the throttle, you just got that big chunk of oversteer, and that is completely gone. It's completely inexistent here in the Ligier. One got to say though, the Ligier tends to do a bit more understeer on acceleration, especially when you go here through the Le Mans chicane. The car is just a bit lazy on the front compared to the Norma, but overall it's a more neutral balance, which I do appreciate. Lucas Schäfers, you just bought the Q1 pack. Glad to get they gave us the option. Yeah, I agree. Tiltaf and Jodex, thank you both for the follow-up here on the Twitch channel. And you see, oh, I bonked the wall on the inside. Sorry about that. That completely throws me off. What you can clearly see, as I hope you can see that, not that I just forgot to shoot stuff back up. You can actually see it. From the lap times though, the LMP3 is, I think, just a little bit faster than the GT3s. Let's have a look. I'm doing a 140.8. And Christian Michael, I think, in the BMW M4 GT3, which we're testing as well, of course. Just 2.5 seconds off, so very good endurance racing stuff possible with this car. Bim Bam Gaming, how to get in touch with me privately. You can type in !Discord, then you'll find an inviting link to my Discord channel. And on the Discord channel, then you can click my name and PM me. Miss Figas, the new tire of the IndyCar is a pleasure to drive. Oh, 3 wide. Woo. With Ruben Correa Alves around the outside in the IndyCar. Proper multi-class car driving. It's a bit of madness. I agree. Okay, I'm guilty on putting up a madness multi-class, but it is what it is. Yeah, just about fine. Oh no. Wait, what? So that Streamlabs explanation mark worked then. Can you try explanation mark? Oh, yeah, the command didn't update. I forgot about that. Please catch Ahonen. I would probably need to do a few setup clicks to catch him. I don't know what he's racing on, but I'm just on the default setup. I can give it a go. Bim Bam Gaming, sadly the explanation mark join does not work. Justin, is it possible to set up multi-class endurance races with AI and rFactor 2? What do you mean exactly? That you are racing against AI in an endurance race? I think so too. They just won't change drivers, obviously. They will just drive. But yes. Oi. Okay, I'll do one final lap. As Bill just pointed out, that can be a bit of an issue with those. Anyway, guys, as we are here in bigger numbers now, there's also some little announcement I'm able to do. I'm very proud to be able to announce that a setup shop has been created again. So obviously rFactor 2 community knows that there were setup shops before, but now there is a new one, which I am affiliated to, and we got a couple of setups already available, and soon also got a setup for the BMW M4 GT3 around the Daytona road course. Effectively, it's already done and still needs to be updated. But if you guys want to check out, in the meanwhile, www.improveyourlaptime.com, everything written together, no spaces, no points, no dashes, nothing. www.improveyourlaptime.com, and yeah, feel free to check out. We got setups for Formula Pro, for Formula E, for all sort of GT3s, GTEs, some LMP2s, stuff like this. So feel free to join these pages. And you know what? I'm just going to do box. Taking a little bit of fuel. We're going to do a pit stop, and then we try to attack Mr. Pauli's time. It is such a wide open pit road. I think you can lose quite a bit of time if you're doing stuff wrong. Okay, before we just sit here and wait, I'll just clacky escape and get back out going. I'm gonna give it a final blow before... Ow. Okay, something bad about this camera position is surely the fact that I don't see the entirety of the car. Next up, we're gonna jump into the BMW M4 GT3, which I'm looking very much forward to. Saltsux, thank you for another super chat with 400 Hungarian UF, whatever that name stands exactly for. Much appreciated that, buddy. So there is actually an LMP3 Ligier behind us, and I'm just gonna give it one shot, then we're gonna jump a little bit into external onboard view, where we have a short resume on the car, and then we will see how rFactor 2 will use them in the future. No, Olivier, I'm not going to race competition system today, gonna do this tomorrow. Finian, explanation mark wheel gets you over to the Akira GP, which is the steering wheel of us. It is indeed a replica of the Mercedes F1 wheel. So let's go, give it everything we can. Probably I'd still say that the second lap is quicker, and maybe I'm just gonna do a second lap. Should get this international horseshoe a bit more fluent next lap, would be great. And then we're gonna jump into the BMW M4 GT3, and that's going to be an interesting car I'm looking forward to, as all these GT3s, I don't want to say they have a little bit of a flaw, but if you guys remember the GT, not just locked up, the GT Challenge, the GT Pro back then, and the Audi was just so reluctant to stay stable. Oscar, I'm not 100% sure really if the wheel is worth the money. Probably I'd say not entirely. I just don't feel like it's manufactured well enough for the amount of money. Okay, so we're now attacking the lap time of Mr. Pauli Ahonen. But that's a second quicker. Oof. Hello there, Mario. Thank you for joining tonight to the release party of the new content here on rFactor 2. Not really faster. That is a bit overdone for sure as well. Yeah, not really quicker. I think I can find a 10th, maybe 2. But that will be pretty much it. How does the Norma feel? So the Norma feels a bit more oversteery compared to the Ligier. This is because the Norma in general has a bit softer suspension all around, especially let me quickly focus on the chicken. Especially the Ligier is a lot stiffer in the back, which helps it on the first flying lap, but then it turns a bit too much into understeers. The rear tires are giving up. Fabrizio Conti, thank you for the slipstream, buddy. As we run into the limiter, doing 298, and that's literally it for the LMP3. So I quickly going to ramp up a bit on the car, as it is a really nice addition here of the rFactor 2 development. The car itself is nothing too special, as we are basically having, you know, another LMP3 out there. They are not too different from each other, as they have the same engine, they have the same aerodynamic specificity, or the same aerodynamic setup, so to say. They all three come with a low downforce, a high downforce, and a Le Mans Aero package, which make them raceable in all sort of circumstances. Beyond that, they look a bit different, especially the Ligier got their distinctive light bulbs out. So, as you can see from the front of the car, the Ligier, it reminds you a little bit really of the front end of the Ligier LMP2 car, so that you can see it's coming really from the same house, so to say. Other than that, really, the cars, I think they improve the handling, especially with the traction control now available to the Ligier and the Norma M30P. They are a lot improved. They are more easy to drive. They are not as erratic and oversteery on the initial throttle application. So you can see that the car is pretty stable. It is a lot more stable than it used to be. And same goes for the Norma. It's not just the Ligier that is going so nicely around the turns. Anyway, that is it about the new Ligier JS P320 here on our channel. And if you're interested in buying the car, I can only suggest you to have a look at the channel description below, where you can find the link for the car itself if you just want to get the car, or you want to have a look into the quarter 2022 package that not only includes the Ligier, but also the BMW M4 GT3, the iRacing, the Lara, not iRacing, the IndyCar, the Lara IR18, and the Daytona track. So that's it for the LMP3.